Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I wanted to have a look at an interview that Grant did over on Twitch. I didn't actually know about this one, so big shout out to Yeetbra over on Discord for letting me know about it. He actually did it at like around the exact same time as the Illuvium Insider that happened this week with Crypto Stash and Paul. So that was another good one. If you haven't seen that, I'll leave that linked in the description as well. I'll leave this full interview linked in the description as well, so you guys can check that one out because I really do enjoy listening to all these interviews. They're just fantastic. Grant is starting to sound a lot like a real back-end developer type person. He gives some good insights and he's gotten a lot more confident with it and with the info that he gives, so that's good as well. But he does go into some of the release date stuff, which is what I wanted to look at specifically in here, and then I wanted to jump back, talk about the community in general, talk about the Illuvatars, because I'm getting so fucking excited for Illuvatars, and have a bit of a chit chat. So let's get into it. Okay, so this one is from the Agora community. Like I said, it's a great interview with Grant. Go ahead and watch it, but I'm just going to highlight this one part to talk about quickly, which is when he asks about release dates at the end of it. The AMA section was pretty good in this one as well. So yeah, definitely check it out if you've got the time. But let's jump in and just have a listen to this. I don't even know if my volume's up, so we'll find out as we go.
One, is there a release date? I should have done my homework, but
So we're days away from doing our first private beta, and then we've tentatively set the release date for the open beta in around June. Q3. Q3 is what we're aiming for. We haven't given a hard deadline because we've stretched the goalpost so many times now as this project has developed. But our plan in terms of community release is to get our first private beta out, which is just the auto battler component. In the private beta 2, it's introducing one completed region in the game that lets you tie in and complete the full game mechanic, which is basically running around the overworld, finding characters, going into the auto battler at that point, and that's our private beta 2. From there, we have to plan potentially either another private beta or do an open beta, either fully open with the overworld and the auto battler, or we've talked about potentially just doing the auto battler to buy ourselves some time to increase the overworld. Right now we're going through a massive overhaul in the overworld side of things, which is the role-playing adventure side, because a lot of the game is tied to how well the auto battler does, and a large portion of our team has been focusing on that. But things internally are looking really good. There's about to be a lot of content from this first private beta go out. We've got some prominent influencers on the beta who'll be sharing videos of gameplay and things like that if people are interested in the actual game itself. And you'll see also that the animation in the game is just ridiculously good. We've got a very, very, for a gaming studio, incredibly good art and animation department.
So that'll just about do us. So that one, I'm just going to bounce over to this screen because, it's a bit prettier. No offense, Grant. But so as you can see there, he says that we are days away. Now, when he says days, I'm hoping next week. Like, days could be 152 days. So hopefully the closed beta is really close. On top of that, I'll stick on the topic of closed beta for a minute. With he said about content coming out from prominent influencers, I'm really hoping they've grabbed some big influencers, got them involved to push it a lot. I feel like that'll start, generating a lot more hype and bring a lot more positivity to the community. I have seen a lot of, not negativity, but sort of more just flatness in the community, definitely, because as always, everyone just wants to get stuff and it's been a bit flat. We're still waiting on the audits for staking V2. We did get, the claim SIL V2, which is a great thing to get out, but then, everyone's hanging on the staking, the land sale, the Illuvatars, and like I've said before, I feel like it's going to be a massive snowball when these things start coming. But if in a couple days in days. I don't know how many days, but if they start getting the private beta out and let like some big influencers, not myself, I am not a prominent influencer at all. I'm a little pleb. But if they get some big people out there with really large reach, generating that environment, then getting more people into the community, I feel like that'll bring everything right back up. And I'm really excited to see how that plays out. Now, the other thing that a lot of people would have noticed when Grant was talking was he did say Q3 release. However, he did say June. I believe, based on what time that interview was, I think it was around 5 or 6 a.m. my time. I'm in the same time zone as Grant. He'd probably been up all night. I'm going to throw him a bone and say brain fart. But January, February, March, April, May, June. June is still Q2. That as soon as they announced Q2, I assumed June 30 would be the release date. That is the way my mind works. I know Kieran was really hoping for earlier, like, you know, in the previous months, but as soon as they say Q2, I go straight to the end as my thinking. Same as when they announced Q1, I was like, okay, we're not getting it earlier than the end of May. So that's the way end of March, sorry. So that's the way my brain thought. So I don't think that's him saying that there's a further delay. I think that's just saying that, you know, June is like the end of Q2. That's when we're sort of aiming for. He did even say that they have stretched the goalposts. They are working on, obviously, the quality of the game. It's an interesting conversation to get into because I know a lot of people in the community are diehard fans, want to get their hands on the game no matter what, and they're like, just give it to us even if it's not complete. I'm not too fussed personally. I think that there's some things that come into the equation. Things like I've seen a lot of games over in mobile gaming space, which is definitely way different. But like some games that are really, really incredibly hyped launch without all their features. And then it's like this sort of people run out of things to do and get bored. I don't think Illuvium will run out of things to do and get bored once you're in the open world catching Illuvials. But, you know, if you launch an incomplete game, it can turn some of those people who aren't the diehard fans away, and then you may never get them back. So I think that would be a consideration that they're looking into. On top of that, I don't see any real big competitors for Illuvium. And big competitors in the space launching anytime soon. So I feel like if there was some really big competitors, because every other game has been pushed back. I look at something like Guild of Guardians, they were supposed to launch in Q1. I think they're not launching till next year now. So yeah, a lot of the big competitors in the play to earn space have been all getting delayed. So I don't think there's that extra push to try and beat competitors into it. But, you know, that could still be a consideration if, you know, something does get pushy. But yeah, there's all those things to consider. I'm curious to see what you guys think. Let me know in the comments what you think about releasing the game. Do you think they should wait, get it more polished, get more features, get the experience better before they do? But on the other hand, we do have that additional thing which Grant touched on, which was this idea of like the open closed beta, the pre-open beta, whatever you want to call it, the closed beta opening up to everyone. Now, with that one's an interesting one for me because, as he said, closed beta 2 will involve the open world. I think if they did this pre-open beta thing, I'd imagine that it would just be the auto battler portion because you don't want to get people in there who may be downloading the game not as in the community as everyone else, where they're like, oh, okay, I'm going around catching it, but it's not an NFT. What's going on? If you do like the pre-open beta where it is like a closed beta but anyone can get in and it's just the auto battler, you've got all the assets, it's very obvious that that's like a beta phase, but not too sure. Hopefully in the next few days, hopefully in the next week, we do get that that closed beta into access, and then we can start seeing some stuff because I think that'll just lift everyone's spirits as well. On top of that, Aaron did say in Discord, just in the general chat a few days ago, that it's looking like the contract audits for staking V2 should be done in the early next week. So in the next, hopefully 3 to 4 days as well. Hopefully those contracts are done. Then they can start putting things in place to get us staking V2 up. And then obviously the predetermined rough idea is 2 weeks after that, we get the land sale, and then move into Illuvatars, which I've got in the back of the the screen. That pretty much covers everything I wanted to talk about in, the release dates, the general stuff, the beta, all that sort of stuff. Curious to see your guys' thoughts. I don't have any set thoughts on this stuff. I just know there's a lot of different considerations, and I'm curious to see which way they do go with it. If they launch it earlier, I'm wrapped because I get to play the game and I'm one of those diehards. If they delay it and it's going to mean a better launch overall for the game, then I'm happy with that as well. So all promising. Like I said, hang in there, guys. I feel like we're just on the edge of it. And like I said, I feel like it's going to be a massive snowball. But can I just say, holy fuck, these things look good. Like, these things are so amazing. I don't care what anyone says. If you disagree with me, you're just wrong, and that's the only way to explain it. I'm just kidding. But this Scorpion is so savage. As soon as I saw this, that's the other thing. Follow guys like Grant, follow Roger on Twitter, because they leak a bunch of this stuff as well before we get to see it elsewhere. And like, it's really cool stuff. You can get a lot of good leaks. Actually, I might compile maybe in another video, or maybe I'll end up putting something in my description. I'll compile a list of people to follow on Twitter, YouTubers and content creators to sub to. I'll eventually, obviously I won't be in this video, but over the next week or so, I'll compile those lists, and I'll probably leave them in the description of my videos. And then you can get around everyone in the community if you want to stay completely up to date, track everything and all that stuff. So I'll get that done eventually, but it's not done yet because it's the weekend, eh? but yeah, man, this Scorpion, the smug Eye of Sauron, is the best thing I've seen. The Ramfire looks absolutely savage. These things are just so cool. There's just too many good ones. I'm so excited for Illuvitar's. I'm actually definitely more excited for Illuvitar's than I am land. I definitely want to get some land so I can play it. But even this Ramfire, look at it. But I don't know how much land I'm going to get. Because land is before Illuvitar's, I kind of want to save a bunch of my SILV for Illuvitar's is what I'm thinking. I really like these things. They're incredibly cool. But let me know what you think. Let me know what your favorite Illuvitar is. I'm curious to see what everyone thinks. But for me, it's definitely Scorpy. This one especially. This one's quite funny up here though. With the, if we go over here, with the glasses on one eye, the two-eye glasses on one eye, I like that. This one's kind of like a cute Scorpy, but definitely the Eye of Sauron is the best Illuvitar that I have personally seen for my taste so far. Anyway, guys, that ended up being a much longer video than I thought it would be, but thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.